me break it down. So ICE just arrested this guy who was running a spot called Yaya Noodles / Sushi John.
I'm confused.
No, so it's one restaurant. It's usually just a sushi spot or a noodle spot, right?
You don't usually mix those.
So he just got picked up for being a Chinese spy.
Hey, Segovia, back with another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. We got a good one coming up today. Another hour banger for this thirsty Thursdays, y'all. I'm sipping on some ice cold water on this hot day, y'all. We ain't gonna talk too much though. Enough with the chit chat. Let's do what we all came here for, right? Let's get into the video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You know, I live in LA, so I decided to go downtown today and talk to people and find out what's really going on, what's their side of the story, to only get attacked and realize that they're all full of shit. Okay? Can't believe any of them. They're all full of shit.
Guys, seeing is no longer believing. Is this a pile of bricks in LA sent there by George Soros? Or was it just some picture from some warehouse in Malaysia? This is going to be a tough pill to swallow, but both sides are fueling the chaos. Democrats, I think, are doing it for money, and Republicans want to create a mass surveillance state. Those interests are converging. Today, there was a resolution in Congress to, quote, express gratitude to ICE. And guess what? 75 Democrats voted for it. Not 2 days ago, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell was tweeting out messages like this, quote, Trump continues to detain / deport innocent American citizens, even a child battling cancer. Until this stops, stay loud. And guess what? Today, he voted for that resolution praising ICE. It's all just theater. Quote, information warfare is always a symptom of conflict, stoked by those in power to fuel their own illiberal goals. It confuses audiences, scares people who might otherwise have empathy for the cause, and divides us when we need solidarity most. It's classic divide and conquer. Don't let them do it.
And boy, are they doing it. Big time. Stupid ass. Why'd you do that? Why'd you hit her? Fucking dumbasses. People get on my nerves, though.
City, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours. Donald Trump! Fascism! Let our people free! Suelta nuestra gente!
What's the windblower for?
That's for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you don't
yeah, you can't mess with Mexicans, y'all. We come through with.
We will not do 1992 again with your fucking chance. I was 12 then. I'm 44 now. I will die for my fucking kids. And all of these young people out here are my fucking kids. Because I'm an LA native mom. These are my fucking children you're fighting. You. Major Bass, if you can hear me, expect me in your office on Monday for attacking my children.
If you could say something to Donald Trump right now, what would he say?
Donald Trump, you can suck my left nut, you can get out of my drawer. You're just Macca Salma Hayek when you give it a time of day, and because Claudia Scheinbaum make you look like a loser.
It's not happening.
We can get in trouble like that. We're not gonna get in trouble. Yes, we can. The fire department is right there. We can't do that. It's illegal. So you're gonna complain? So you guys are telling us to do something illegal because you guys are doing something illegal by blocking the road right here. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's why all these people look.
They're gone! They're gone! They're gone!
People think ICE just rolled into downtown LA to do raids. Stuart Bathwater, he says, nah, this ain't about just immigration. He told me anytime you see federal boots lined up at sunrise, but no official press briefing, that means they're not here for just people. They're here for something under the grid. And let me remind y'all, Stuart didn't lose his vision in an accident. It was 2008. They drilled under the Wilshire line for a water main. Stuart was working security 2 blocks over when he saw the glow. Then it was gone, so was his sight. Stuart says ICE is downtown right now, not to just detain, but to contain. He said when City Hall sirens go off without echo, that's when the tunnels breathe. When they breathe twice, it's not gas, it's a wake up. If you're near downtown LA and your compass starts to spin even slightly, don't film it. Just leave. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. Stuart only answers when the power grid hums in B flat. When it does, don't ask twice.
Take this shit somewhere else.
This is all a show, y'all. This is Hollywood. This is Hollywood, right? Look at the show, y'all.
Hurry up! They all finna come in. They all come in. Y'all had a great time. I love it. Y'all had a great time. Hey, y'all had a great time. All cameras down. All cameras down. All cameras down.
All little kids, y'all. All little kids.
It's all respect, it's all respect.
Eva Longoria posted that video from her mansion in Spain. She is so overcome because of the ICE raids in Los Angeles. Mind you, she fled the country because she's worth about $80 million and she's living in a mansion in Spain. And she has the audacity to tell us it is un-American to deport criminals. I'm sorry. It is not un-American, and she acts like they're going and sweeping and picking up 2-year-olds. No, we are deporting violent criminals like Kilmar Abrego Garcia and others. That is what we are doing. So she is over at her mansion in Spain. Eva Longoria wants to tell us how to live our lives. She's also acting like she's the savior of the Mexican immigrants. She reminds me a lot of Selena Gomez in her video from a few months ago where she was crying and saying, "These are my people. All of my people are getting attacked." But Eva Longoria, she is in her mansion in Spain. She's worth $80 million, and she is telling people in Los Angeles, it's fine. Let the illegal migrants just live and run amok. Let them do what they want to do. Why aren't you calling out Gavin Newsom for failing to protect California, to protect Los Angeles? Why aren't you calling out Karen Bass? And Eva Longoria, much like Selena Gomez, she did not even learn Spanish until 2009. Okay, so Eva Longoria is acting like she is the queen of the Mexican Americans. She did not even learn Spanish till 2009 when she was a very famous television star. That's who Eva Longoria is.
What they doing?
I'll tell you what, y'all. That lady with the leaf blower is more of a leader than Miss Eva Longoria to the Mexican people. She had a leaf blower out there, y'all. She had a leaf blower out there. That's funny. It's in the blood, y'all. It's in the blood. I'm about to go blow my front yard with a leaf blower after this video, y'all. That's facts.
They paying you guys to be here?
Yeah.
You guys are not really in trouble?
They're working for Donald Trump.
Really? Oh shit.
Donald Trump.
How much they paying you? 100? Nah.
You working here?
You guys are on the sidewalk.
Warehouse and retail outlet that you served warrants on, the belief is, and the evidence suggests, that this is a cartel-related business here in the United States, that this money, the $80 million that they are suspected of undervaluing the double-digit millions in tariffs that they are suspected and will be charged with violations on, income tax evasion. You believe that all of that is benefiting an illegal cartel, a cartel in Mexico or Colombia. Do you know which cartel?
No, it's a larger investigation, and this company is one of many that we're searching and gathering evidence on the fact that much of the money in this industry is laundered to Colombia and Mexico in support of cartel activities. We also got tax evasion, and we also got customs fraud. And ICE, big part of ICE responsibilities are customs laws, customs enforcement. So this is one business out of many we're looking at. So it's a part of a bigger investigation. And as we gather more evidence, then we'll decide what we want to criminally prosecute, specifically for.
Now,
and while the city of Los Angeles is burning, while the National Guard, while the Marines descend on Los Angeles, Gavin Newsom's wife, Jennifer Newsom, was spotted shopping in Beverly
Coffee,
Hills.
Happy as hell, y'all.
That's right.
Happy as hell.
Shopping in Beverly Hills. And
big old smile on her face.
$2,500 handbag, all kinds of goodies. Now, they say, Newsom's office says, that the first partner, they don't call her the first lady, she's the first partner. The first partner was actually just getting skincare products. She's getting skincare products because she had skin cancer years ago. God bless her. I pray that she's doing very well. But I get skincare products from Walgreens or Walmart. She goes to Beverly Hills while the city of Los Angeles is burning and rioting and looting. Interesting choice.
They don't care, y'all. Trump and Newsom are sitting back saying, these idiots out there fell for it again. Hook, line, and sinker. Fell for it again. We're going to pass some bills. We're going to make some money. Burned the whole damn city down a few months back. Burning it down again, y'all. And we're divided. We're exactly where they got us where they want us, y'all. If we ever come together, you ever see those other foreign countries where they rush, like, I don't know, the palace or the White House, right? And they make that leader flee the country, right? He's out. Because if they get him, he's going in the middle of Times Square, and you know what they're going to do? Stoned, right? We haven't done that here because we're so divided. If we ever come together and realize, man, they're screwing us with taxes, they're screwing us with gas, they're screwing us with groceries, they're screwing us with every little thing we can think of that is in our house, that is in our driveway, we're getting screwed over, and they're getting rich off it. Whether you're right, whether you're left, it doesn't matter. Until we come together, nothing's going to change, y'all. Nothing's going to change. And it's sad to see that people are so asleep, and even people on the right, y'all, you got to admit, like, this is all a game. It's all a game.
This is wild. A mysterious black truck just passed out all of these expensive bionic face shields to protesters in LA, and the news caught it on camera. I zoomed in and found out this is the UVEX bionic shield. These are not cheap. They're around $45 to $65, and you can't just get them in bulk. But one place that sells them is Walmart. And why is that important? Because there's a new protest being promoted called No Kings on June 14th. And even celebrities like Chrissy Teigen are posting it. And it's in magazines and newspapers. And guess who's behind this message? Christy Walton. That's right, one of the billionaire heiresses, a part of the Walmart family. Now, I don't know why they would be behind that protest against President Trump, but remember, just less than 3 weeks ago, President Trump tweeted about the whole tariff situation, saying Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars of last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. So, is it possible that maybe the Walmart family didn't like that and now they're finding ways to make their voices heard? Or is this just a big coincidence? As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
We're almost done with these rioting things, y'all. We're going to get into other things. It's just the beginning. There's big news happening right now, and it's a big conspiracy, y'all. But handing out those masks, did the cops pull that guy over when he drove off? No. Let him go, y'all. Because they're allowing it. They want that. They want this tension in the streets. I mean, if you drive by a cop and flip him off, you're getting pulled over. I mean, it ain't against the law to do that, but he's going to bust your balls. And if you don't know the law, you're going to get a ticket or arrested. Right? But this guy's out there handing out masks to do damage towards police officers. They let him go scot-free.
I love this flag right here.
You just said you love that flag right there. What's your favorite thing about the Mexican flag?
What colors?
What's the purpose of bringing out the Mexican flags today here while we are in the United States?
Honestly, I have no idea, bro. I just came here to just show out.
They don't care.
That's it, bro.
They're
Do you think
young,
it's
y'all.
low-key,
They
like,
just
all
want
right, if you want to rep your flag,
do
go back to
something.
your country kind of vibe, or do you think people are just upset with what's going on?
I don't know. Honestly, like, it's true, you know, like, we did come, but, like, I don't know, bro. It just, they're here already. They don't want to leave.
Why are they protesting what's going on here in the United States if they don't want to go back to their country?
Because they think it's, like, it's stolen land, so they think they could just come in here, you know, and take over.
Then this guy right here is essentially taunting National Guard right here, saying National Guard, LOL. Meanwhile, National Guard is right there with their troops.
You need a mask?
I'm all good. What's the mask for?
I mean, shit. I mean, you know.
You're handing out the mask. Why are people having masks? And who do you think's in the wrong, Newsom or Trump right now? They're battling it out.
Trump, definitely. Look at what's happening. I mean, clearly.
If Elon Musk shared his $420 billion equally among all people on Earth, how much money would each person get? And we're going to do higher or lower. Just off the top of your head, how much do you think we'll all get?
Math is not a super strong point of mine.
Yeah.
I don't have a calculator in front of me. Let's just throw out every single person on Earth gets an equal share. How many people currently exist on Earth?
There's about 8 billion, maybe 8.1 billion, somewhere in there. It's a lot of people.
I'm going to go with $60.
$60 is pretty close. Lower. Yeah.
What about in the country,
We're
not
not
the
even
world?
getting $60, bro.
Man, it ain't worth it then.
He can keep it.
He can just keep it.
He can just keep it. I don't want his 60.
All right, so let's go with an even $50 bill.
Yeah, 50's close. You're getting a little bit closer, but it's higher than that.
$52.
$53. Yeah, you were close at 52, but it's around 53. You know, it could be 52. Like I said, with the fluctuation, it could be around 52. 53, it's right in there.
Yeah.
Would you want it?
Yeah, buy me a tank of gas. Go about my day.
If you got a check in the mail from Elon, you're like, I'll give me some gas.
Yeah.
You got $53 all day?
All day.
Yo, nobody's talking about this, and I don't know why, but there's like a baby life crisis happening in a lot of young people. And it's basically when you look at your paths that are available to you, which is like go to college, get a monstrous debt, and then be a financial doom slave to never even be able to afford a house anyway. And you kind of look at that and you go, yo, this is actually stupid. There's no way to win this game. And then you just completely detach and you just start vibing. You just start having fun. So I've seen a lot of young people, 18 to like 23, just completely have a baby life crisis and be like, wait a second, why would I participate in everything that's fake and gay when I could just, because even if I participate, I'm still going to be poor and I'm still going to be enslaved. So if I just don't participate in it, I'm at least a little more free now because sure, I might make a little less money, but I don't have all these debt obligations that are going to make me even more unfree than I am by being poor anyway. So tell me how that makes sense.
Fans are looking at Gorilla kind of sideways after revealing this picture of her wearing what seems like a possessed mask with one eye. And we know what that one eye represents. Glorilla, we own to you. We hope that you ain't cross over to the other side. Fans are questioning it now. They saying, hold on, where are you going with this glow? Do these pictures look kind of suspect to you? Drop it down in the comments, because as we have seen before, the dark side often turns some of our good ones. And we hoping that this is not true, Gorilla, because we love your music and we love to turn up with you. But speaking on myself, if this is the case, I'm going to have to take a step back as we see this a lot that's been going on with Hollywood, it's been crumbling to the ground because the Most High has been bringing his people up and moving the enemy out the way. So drop it down in the comments. I want to know what you think. It's your boy AOG King Sot and No Glow.
You can't work a job because of your dog separation anxiety. At that point, you are not going to survive in society. And there is no budget I can make.
My therapist has come to the recommendation that I not have a direct boss.
Girl, you're not going to survive. Everyone has a boss.
Do you?
Yes, the audience.
Uh-huh.
I have a boss. The platform that I'm on, I have to follow the rules and regulations, or else no money. Every month it is getting more competitive to get a remote job. More people are getting laid off in tech, and everyone wants a remote job. You are competing with the top of the top of the top. In-person is what gets you an income next week. We can get you an in-person job because you're not.
Job, where am I going to put my dog for an in-person job? She has severe separation anxiety, and she ate through my door.
You might have to surrender the dog if you cannot survive as a human being, because if you're not able to survive, they're not able to survive.
Right. So marine archaeologists say that they found a 10,000-year-old playground underwater. You just heard what I said, right? A 10,000-year-old playground underwater. Matter of fact, look at this shit.
200 miles off Hawaii's coast, a team from the Oceanic Exploration Institute has uncovered what they're calling a prehistoric playground. At the ocean floor, they found stone structures, slides, circular platforms, and carved seats, what appears to be a staircase straight from a science fiction novel, arranged in a pattern that suggests a play area, dating back roughly 10,000 years to the end of the ice age.
10,000 years ago.
Carbon dating of...
Now, if they found that shit underwater, you gotta ask yourself, what else is under there? They said that that was a playground from 10,000 years ago. First and foremost, how do you know exactly how many years it's been in there? And second, again, if that's there, what about those cities that went missing? Where are they at? You see, what they do is they dig and they dig and they dig and they dig. And one time, y'all gonna dig and y'all gonna bring some shit back that y'all not supposed to bring back. Apparently, if it's going missing, it's going missing for a reason. But y'all so curious. You know what they say curiosity did, right? Pay attention. So
I just got home from going out, and one of the guys that was at the table, he asked me, "How old are you? You look pretty young." And at first I laughed. I thought he was just being nice. I told him, haha, I'm old enough. And he goes, no, but seriously, like, you look really young. Are you over 25? I know I look my age. I'm 33 years old. I'm a grown-ass woman. But then it dawned on me, and I took a look around, and all the girls that were at our table looked my age. I could tell that they were younger than me because of what they were wearing, how they spoke, they were dancing, the way they were drinking. You just know, young girls, have fun. I was that age. But I don't understand why these young 22, 23-year-olds are getting so much filler. Lip filler, cheek filler, jaw filler. It is insane. Babe, you look older than your age because you're getting all this filler. Anyone can do what they want. I'm not embarrassed to share everything that I've gotten done. I'm at the med spa every couple of months. I'm not afraid to admit, but again, I am 33 years old. At 22, I wasn't getting anything done. No wonder this guy thinks I'm young, because the young girls look older and look my age, which is 33. There's something so youthful about not having a ton of filler and having just like your chubby cheeks and not a defined jawline. I wish more girls understood you don't need to do all the things at such a young age. That's it. Good night.
Does anybody else forget their their age out there? I guess I hit that age, right? I'm 35, but I always forget. I used to be so easy to remember my age because I was born in 1990. So in year 2000, 10. 2005, 15. 2010, 20, right? It was so easy to keep track of my age, but I don't know why this time around, I always forget my age. Like when somebody asks, I'm like 34. I'm like 35, right? I always just forget. And I always see people online, like older people, when they're asking like, how old are you? And they're like thinking like, did I hit that mile marker? Did I hit that mile marker, the 35-year age where you start like, damn, how old am I? Right? You guys relate?
Are a lot of these criminals that you talk to that are effective and successful at committing crimes actually pretty intelligent?
A fair amount. There's like the Felixes of the world are pretty rare. Like the guys that that could have been an IT specialist or in finance or different. Like there's some of these guys that are really, really smart and the way they know cars is better than like almost any car expert at a dealership would ever know a car. There's some of those guys, but most of the guys I think I come in contact with are the more brute force criminals.
A lot of you think this is just a fashion show. It is not.
It's weird.
This is a ritual happening right before your eyes. These beings, they do exist with the face. This is not a fashion show, y'all. All rituals. Telling y'all.
So to give you the overview of what cloud seeding is, about 93% of all of the liquid and ice water that traverses the lower atmosphere over the US. So the water in the clouds, right? About 93% of that doesn't precipitate over land. It just evaporates away or gets recycled by the oceans. That means that there's a ton of water up there that's just going to waste that you can bring down. So certain clouds that aren't naturally precipitating or that aren't very efficiently precipitating, you can identify those with radar. You can measure that there's liquid in them that isn't coming down, fly a drone up into them, disperse a material that freezes the liquid in the cloud. And we can talk about what that material is later, but disperse a material that freezes the liquid in the cloud into big, heavy snowflakes that become heavy enough to fall down. And if it's warm beneath the cloud, melt into rain. If it's cold, stay as snow. And so if you just blast a cloud, right, and then it rains, that isn't necessarily proof that you caused it to rain, right? Like maybe you're just good at picking clouds that were going to rain anyway. Mm-hmm. And so nobody could really justify doing this at scale up until 2017. And what changed then was the National Center of Atmospheric Research, an organization called NCAR out in Colorado. They realized if you have the right wavelength of radar, of dual polarization radar, which I'll talk about again in a sec too. But if you have the right kind of radar and you fly in a zigzag, right, or in a circle or in your initials, and you only see precipitation on the radar in your flight track, then you can say, oh, that is definitively man-made because we flew in this zigzag or we flew in this spiral and there's only precipitation occurring in that shape. They did that in Idaho in 2017 multiple times. And that was the very first time that people were able to show, one, that it was unambiguously working, and two, that they could measure how much water they put on the ground. And so most folks, even in the scientific community, are still catching up to speed with this tech. The regulatory community, some people know about it, think it's cool. Some people think that it doesn't exist. Some people don't know the difference between cloud seeding and geoengineering and a bunch of other stuff. But
I'm in that category.
We'll talk about that then.
Where's your phone? Did you leave it out?
I don't use a phone. I haven't used the phone for a year almost.
Oh, France took it.
Oh, France took it, but even before it took it, I wasn't using my phone. I didn't have a SIM card in the phone. I just use it to test Telegram, the app, because we have constant product updates. I have to test it like at least twice a week. I'm not a user of a phone.
When you come across someone who knows an immense amount about technology, really understands the technology, it's interesting to know his perspective on technology. Like with everything you know, you don't use a phone. You know, people can draw their own conclusions.
Ask them why, Tucker, why?
What the freak is that? Oh my God, let me go.
Yeah, that would be crazy seeing that out your window, right?
Wait. Oh, it went away.
You dumbass.
Fuck. What the fuck was that? Yo. Something was on fire over there. Wow. By the time I ran for my room to my balcony, it was gone.
Let me break it down. So ICE just arrested this guy who was running a spot called Yaya Noodles / Sushi John.
I'm confused.
No, so it's one restaurant. It's usually just a sushi spot or a noodle spot,
Yeah,
right?
you don't usually mix those.
So he just got picked up for being a Chinese spy.
Wow.
Have you ever seen any Chinese restaurant commercials for any Chinese restaurants in America? There's over 45,000 Chinese restaurants in America, and none of them have commercials. And Panda Express doesn't count.
What the fuck?
Right?
No.
So think about it.
Okay.
Could all these Chinese restaurants be fronts? Then we have all these Chinese hackers getting into our water systems. You know, they're infiltrating the Federal Reserve. They're a former senior advisor to the Federal Reserve. Just got locked up a few months ago for being a Chinese spy. He was a traitor.
Come on, y'all.
A U.S. state official was getting paid in Chinese yuan. He got caught red-handed with Chinese yuan. All these things are happening, so they're infiltrating our food, our water, everything on a whole different level. It's not just, hey, we're gonna come over and invade you.
Yeah, well, they knew that would never work.
Right.
The way to, that'd be the easiest way to get to us.
Right.
Try to dumb us down through our food, honestly.
Even with TikTok. TikTok's a Chinese app, right?
Yeah.
Tell me why their feed in China is completely different than ours.
Right.
So over here, everybody's doing like stupid ass dances and it's a bunch of bullshit, right? Over there, it's completely different. It's all educational. They're learning AI, math, and their feed is completely different.
Y'all, I don't think I've ever seen a Chinese restaurant, sushi, anything. Korean barbecue. I've never seen a commercial for that, advertising it. Now, granted, I don't really watch TV no more, right? But still, I have never seen, have you guys seen one? I've never even thought of it. I mean, you don't really see a lot of mom and pop commercials no more. So maybe you'll see a Chili's, big box restaurants. You don't really see the little, burger spot on the corner. I mean, you do. What do you guys think? All I know is I've never seen a Chinese restaurant commercial.
Too many coincidences happening.
That's a clean mic, Kyrie.
Yeah, I'm in these rooms. Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be a billionaire. Everybody wants the money. Everybody wants the best girl in the room. Everybody wants to be cool. But as soon as something sparks outside in humanity in the real world,
yeah, you get in trouble for that.
Being in these rooms,
he knows.
with some of these individuals, they talk so tough about what they want to do and how they're going to change things, and then eventually they run into something more powerful where it stops them. And I don't need to go into more detail. You guys know in this chat, but it's crazy to watch somebody you looked up to kind of downplay who they are and downplay their position on this earth. That's really what I'm getting at. When I see people in my community or people from my community shrink, because I've shrunk in the moment plenty of times, and felt like I had to be more apologetic instead of strategically prepared. That makes sense.
Where's the spot that you've been that you have no interest in going back to?
That's a great question. I know I have an answer. I'll tell you. Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to shit on Fiji, but there's a reason everyone's on the boats. It's kind of like Arizona, in my opinion.
Beautiful.
Not a lot of water in Arizona.
I felt when I was there and they were going through a coup d'etat at the time I was there. I felt like it reminded me of Arizona. It was very dry. It wasn't very lush. It wasn't. The islands weren't. I apologize, Fiji. Being on a boat was amazing. It was beautiful. We went scuba diving. We went free diving. We went surfing. We caught amazing fish. We ate great meals, but all on a boat. And I kind of was bummed that Fiji wasn't what I thought it would be. When you hear
Take
Fiji,
that off
you
my
think
bucket list.
Jungles and forests, and all I saw was Flagstaff. Not even Flagstaff. Tempe, Scottsdale.
Do you know why Labubus are popping off right now?
Recession.
Yeah, Labubus popping off is one of the key signs that we're headed there right now.
Yes.
You know what happened before?
No.
And you know what's very similar to Labubus that used to pop off?
Okay, wait, let me think.
During the 2008 economic depression, there was a huge boost in sales of one product very similar to Labubus, and I bought hella as a kid. You probably had one too. I'm sure.
Pokemon cards?
Nope. Yo, I'm telling you, you would go into elementary school and kids would have it at recess. Some kids would put it on their desk. And it's very similar to a Labubu, bro. Around 2008.
Is it a stuffed animal or
yes,
no?
Yes.
Okay.
Please tell me you know.
No, I don't, fam, but...
Remember Club Penguin Puffles?
Oh!
Is that not Labubus, bro?
No, that's the same. You can hang
and
the
you can hang it.
Yeah, you can hang the
And that
puffles.
happened
Great
just
depression.
before the economic depression, bro. The housing market crash. 2008, that's like peak Club Penguin, bro.
Yeah. The boo-boos are right now. Fam,
that means we're headed to some shit,
No, that means
bro. we're close, though.
You ever think about the fact that millennials had computer class in high school and middle school where we literally had to learn how to use a computer and type? Nowadays, kids just get handed an iPhone at 3 months old and know how to use it proficiently.
I came across something leading me to believe that we haven't seen anything close to the worst yet. Like, we have seen nothing in the grand scheme of what this is really going to be. I'll show you in a minute, and no, you have not seen this yet, because there's a certain detail in here that means a lot. Completely unrelated, though, to everything going on. That in the last video was the California fire that has gone to 4,000 acres. It was also all the military vehicles in LA, and the tank was getting ready for the thing going on in DC. But did you know that ICE is really ramping up their raids, even going to fields and snatching people? And after the raids I showed you last night in the fields this morning, they're now starting to put up flags at work sites. Meanwhile, we have Gavin Newsom urging all people in the United States to stand up. Now, I showed this last night, all the locations that we are actively having things. And some person actually caught these people on camera loading all their stuff and their people into this van right here. This will make a little more sense in a minute.
Hey, I'm just documenting you guys putting all your protest stuff in a van. It's very nice of you. How far did you travel to come to protest today?
That's not really your concern.
Really quick, I want you to understand all the preparation that has to go into this. The food, the travel, to be out there for days at a time, and the numbers they're in multiple states. Just remember that, okay? I'm about to show you what I came on here to show you in the first place, but this is that fire that went from 300 acres to 4,000 acres, only 10% contained. I wonder how it got there. Okay, so this right here is not related to anything in this video. I just came across a really cool Craigslist ad, and this ad, monthly salary of 200K. So whoever these humans are, they're gonna be needed monthly. Literally months at a time. Oh, and by the way, you know the military is pulling out a whole lot of people from Kuwait and other Middle Eastern places. Wonder why.
So there is this thing going around where people are putting stuff into AI to show that AI doesn't know everything, like phrases that don't mean anything, and asking, hey, what does this phrase mean? And then AI says, oh, it just makes something up. If we were to put a fake phrase like two frogs are better than a dry log.
What does the phrase two frogs are better than a dry log mean? AI is now
It should
spitting
say,
out.
don't know, never heard of that one.
The phrase two frogs are better than a dry log is a metaphorical or whimsical expression. Two frogs symbolizing life, companionship, or liveliness, and a dry log representing something dull, lifeless, or stagnant. So it's kind of like saying it's better to have some liveliness or company, even if imperfect, than to be stuck with something dull and lifeless.
Oh, haven't we all worked for this person
Yeah,
who just knows everything, thinks they know everything? Oh, I know. Anyway, if you ever feel like you're dumb, well, you're not as dumb as you think you are. Have fun with that. Come up with your own ones.
This younger generation aren't apparently working themselves to death. If you observe things like TikTok, where they're having like the mocha chocolate frappa lattes and doing the yoga and the working at the big tech company and quiet quitting and all
Some
that.
of them have figured out that the country's a scam. And here's the good news. They're not wrong. And when you figured out the country's a scam, you can approach it the way a con artist or a scammer would approach it, which is what a lot of them do. They invent mental health ailments they don't have. They take days off on end. They terrify their superiors into respecting their mediocre, shoddy quality of work. This is something that Gen Z has latched onto. This is something that I fully support. This is their way of rising through the ranks. They're taking advantage of people that they work with and, making them tolerate less and less work and work of lower and lower quality. because they've realized that a lot of this is bullshit. So they're like, why shouldn't I get in on it? I think young people are like, why in the hell should I spend 40 hours doing a job I hate when I can pretend to do it and threaten my boss if they try to fire me and fake a mental illness that I don't have and demand everybody conform to what I want and then use whatever diversity chips I have to go out and throw a scare into anyone that tries to call me to account for any of my behavior. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's very interesting. It's really destabilizing a lot of society.
I got a question to all the 30-year-olds out there, 30 and above, you know. Does it really get better? I am turning 30 in a month from now. And I swear to God, if my 30s are just as bad or even worse than my 20s, I'm like, just, so, tell me, does it actually get better? I fucking hope so. I fucking hope so.
If you want the change, you got to be the change, right? You got to start planting them seeds in your 20s for what you want to bloom in your 30s. Don't keep doing what you're doing in your 20s and your 30s, because guess what? It's going to be the same, y'all. Got to make some changes, big changes if you want change.
Cave system in the world, and this group of like 10, they're gonna go explore this cave, and it takes like 12 hours to explore, like get to the bottom or whatever, and come back up. And there's this one passage, the average width and height, the height is 10 inches and the width is 2 feet.
I'm suing.
And so the only way you can get through it, they said you literally have to use your fingertips to scoot yourself through this.
Never.
Listen to this. And it was getting too extreme for some of the cave divers or cave dwellers. And so like 4 of them came back up, and the rest are like, yeah, we're gonna go finish the route or whatever. And so one of the ladies, her husband was one of the guys that stayed. It started to sprinkle a little bit when she was up there, but it wasn't anything concerning. They were supposed to exit the cave at midnight, and it was 9 o'clock. So they were making their way back through the passage, that really hard passage, and it started to like torrential downpour, and it immediately flooded the whole cave. All those dudes stuck in that passage. One dude was able to find an air hole, but it had just filled out up like past his nose.
He died?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The most dangerous.
How, if McDonald's is serving an all beef patty, how can 30% of it be soy? All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce.
Damn, that's like a riddle. How do they? How do?
So easy.
Well, then what do they? What's
blow your mind?
What's? How do they do it? What's the rationale? How do they do that?
They own a company called All Beef.
Oh.
Who makes the patty? So when I see natural flavors, it might as well say cyanide.
So containing natural flavors. So really, that natural flavor should have an R next to it. Like this is actually a company, Natural Flavors. Oh my God! Selling all beef, the company all beef patties. That's so fucked.
It's a magnet in that basketball. It's a magnet in that basketball, boy. This NBA, it's a business. I always forget. Don't sit down. It's a magnet in that ball. Why? Bro, when them games on the line, man, they making that ball go in, dog.
You never just said it.
I said it. They making that ball go in.
Is it a magnet in there when your boy shooting that mother?
I don't give a damn. It's a magnet in there.
Or he just the best? He just the best shooter.
It's
ever?
a magnet in there.
Is he the best shooter ever?
When Steph shoot that bit, I
you
think it's a
taking credit
magnet.
from your boy by saying it.
Man, I don't give a damn. It's a magnet in that ball. Come on, do some. We gotta do some. Come on, we can't be blind to what the technology that's in the world. Cause he went 6 for 6, and then Halliburton shot. Look, that mother went up sky high, fell right through the net.
That don't happen.
It does.
Basketball, you know what?
But hold on, what that do to you right now? What you ready to watch the series now? Halliburton, it brings back the entertainment. So just hear me out. I'm just saying it's creating that aura to where people just really want to watch basketball now.
Halliburton, he
hitting. He done hit game winners. Like let's keep it alive. But it's a magnet in that ball.
In the middle of.
I don't know, y'all. Do you guys think there's a magnet in there? These dudes, repetition, reps, hundreds and hundreds of shots a day, right? I remember I used to play a lot of basketball in LA Fitness and all that back in the day, right? And I remember one particular game. We were playing twos, me and my brother-in-law versus some, random two dudes in the gym, right? And I kid you not, I couldn't miss. I've never had a day like that. I was just in a zone, y'all, in a zone. I swear, anywhere I shot, I could be 3 feet behind a three. It was swish, everything. I've never had a day like that. Now, I was a good shooter. I could shoot pretty good, right? But I've never had a game like that where I made everything, y'all. And that's just me playing, 2 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week, right? Playing fives, playing 21, playing twos, right? I grew up playing basketball. So I don't know. They that's their job, y'all. They're sitting there, you know, just reps. Anything you do in life, if you just are consistent, you're gonna get good, right? These guys are just shooting reps. Now, of course, they're a different level, from good, right? I can sit there all day and shoot reps. I ain't gonna be on that level, right? I ain't blessed with speed, with height, with jumps, with all that. But I just remember that one game, y'all. That one game, I couldn't miss, y'all. I just never had a day like that again. I couldn't miss. Everything was going in. Everything.
On. There is a failed, just an abandoned American town. 2.5 million acres of Amazon rainforest, and all these buildings just abandoned. A ghost town. This abandoned town is called Fordlandia because, get this, Henry Ford, the guy who owns Ford Motor Company, in 1928, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy up all this land in the Amazon rainforest to make rubber for the cars and cut off the Dutch and British suppliers. Then I have full control over it, and I can create my own little American society in Brazil. Scary. Uniforms, a clock tower, a strict no alcohol policy. Canned peaches and oatmeal shipped thousands of miles by boat. Even a golf course. In the rainforest. And he just expected thousands of Brazilian rubber workers to just be down with that. Which is like, of course not. And the jungle fought back hard. You see, rubber trees, when they're planted, they need space, and he planted them really tight together, which allowed diseases and pests to spread like wildfire. So the trees all withered and died, not to mention the houses that the workers lived in were just totally infested with bats, spiders. They were decaying, and the roads literally melted in the heat. Roofs collapsed in the rain, so it wasn't meant for civilization, let alone this Americanized town. Also, this dude Ford was forcing these workers to eat American food they didn't like. They couldn't take any breaks. It was essentially like a factory prison. So in 1930, the workers rioted with machetes. They tore apart the cafeteria and ran all the Ford managers off into the jungle, and they had to send in Brazilian troops. And by the 1940s, synthetic rubber was invented, so Ford just gave up, and he just totally abandoned the town despite spending $20 million, which is like $300 million today. Fordlandia never produced a single usable drop of rubber tire. The town was slowly reclaimed by the jungle. But hey, even today, there's an abandoned water tower that still says Ford on it. And actually, a few hundred residents still live there. These are descendants of workers and settlers who stayed behind. This is, why you can't try to colonize the Amazon rainforest.
You spent $16,024 on going out to eat.
I normally just go to Nobu in Vegas.
It's 4% of your spending. But even so, you bring in $2 million a month, so if you cook food.
Like, I'll cook my dog's food, but for my food, it's easier just to DoorDash because going to the store and then cooking it will actually lose me money and time.
Yes, at your level, absolutely.
I was hoping you would just start the video off by just being like, DoorDash, 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 DoorDash.
It's okay.
Why?
In your percentages. I want people to know that. I mean, the show's real. It's not fake.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think I make as much money as I do, but then like Forbes, who they require your tax forms to verify and fact check, like New York Times article, they require that too, so it's definitely there.
When you dress, you know the spirits and demons that you enticing when you dress a certain way. See, that's why God, we talk about scripture, we talk about the Bible, the Quran, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. They talk about a woman dressing a certain way because how you dress gives off an energy. So how you dress creates an energy. How you dress attracts a certain person. You see? And how you think dictates how you dress. You heard?
You know what the American excuse is? We had all this land so we could have straight roads. What they had over there, dude, those were like the original cow paths. They just paved over them, basically.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, how do we go 200 miles an hour on this? That's why, you know, Formula One has right and left turns. Best we'll do is just drive in a circle over here. I love it, dude.
Now that we know that Timberland has an AI artist that he just signed, did he use the music that you guys play on his live stream to train his AI?
Checkmate. That's these celebrities.
Be careful, y'all.
Don't
There's
worship them.
literally nowhere in America to just hang out. You're either at work or home. Anywhere else, you're spending money. And if you do find a place that doesn't take your money, it disappears. Coffee shops? They used to be for the people. Now it's $7 lattes, uncomfortable chairs, Wi-Fi that cuts out after 30 minutes. They don't want you to stay long. Let's say you want to go to the beach. In Florida, some of the beaches are $50 minimum to just park. We all have to drive to the beach. There's no public transportation there. I personally don't know anyone who goes to the library. The one near me has been closed for 5 years, supposedly reopening soon, but who knows? Parks are cool if it's not a bajillion degrees outside. I would melt if I went this time of year. Even the design of some public spaces are designed to make you move along, not let you linger. I truly feel that we're being priced out of resting, connection, or just being allowed to exist. There's really nowhere you can go anymore without leaving with a receipt. When I was in Europe, one of my favorite things was taking a glass of wine from a nearby bar, taking it across the street to a plaza, sitting there enjoying it, watching people, watching dogs, chatting with some locals, and then when you were done with your drink, you take it back across the street to the bar, give the glass back, they give you a token. It was like the businesses were in on this. They were in on the human connection and flourishing. Here, it wouldn't make any financial sense for a business to do that. They want you in their bar, staying there, spending your money, and then leaving when you're done spending your
Well, now it's a liability, or that's how they tell us, right? It's a liability. You can go out there drinking our beer that we let you go, get in the car with our beer that we let you leave, crash into a family of, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's a liability now that they realize. I don't know. They sign new laws. I don't know. Or maybe they just say that so that we stay in the bar and drink because we don't question it. We just do it.
What's a third space that you used to love that doesn't exist anymore? What's gone from your neighborhood? What did they replace it with?
You simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally. And we do that by buying treasury bills or bonds or other government guaranteed securities. And that actually increases the money supply. We also print actual currency and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve banks.
What is one truth about life that you wish more people understood?
Money does really make you happy. People want to say, oh, money doesn't buy happiness or it doesn't do this. Yes, it does. In fact, it solves a lot of problems. It answers a lot of things. It's the way you handle money. People who help people that have a lot of money are happy. A lot of people want to stereotype and say things about money. No, who wants to be poor? Like, have you ever heard anybody say, oh, I wish I was poor?
So if you could go back in time and give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would have invested more. Listen to older people, especially if they're wealthy. Invest your money when you're young.
Yes. The thing that money brings happiness, I think, and I've heard, like she said, listen to people that are older and have money, right, or wealthy. I've heard them people say, money's just going to make you more of what you already are, right? If you're miserable in life and you come up on a lot of money, you're going to be even more miserable. If you're a gambler and you come up on a lot of money, you're going to be even worse gambler. If you're happy, if you're a giver before you get money, when you get money, you're going to be even more happier and more of a giver, right? So that was the thing I wanted to say about her that said money brings you happiness. And two, invest, y'all. When you're young, like for me, I'm investing $200 now a month for my baby boy, right? I'm investing it, planning to give him a big lump sum when I feel he's ready, 30, 40, married, kids, good head on his shoulders. There you go. Hopefully I give him the knowledge by the time he's that age. He ain't going to need that. He can put that away or leave it in that account and it grows compound to that generational wealth. But That's what I'm doing, y'all. You got to start him young, right? Got to, even if it's $50, $25 a month. He's 4 months old, so $25 a month. By the time he's 40, it's gonna be a lot of money, y'all. So that's what I'm doing with my kid, y'all. Invest young, right? Invest young. I try to give my nieces, I try to give them knowledge. Like, you guys are working, you can afford $100 out of that paycheck. $100, ship it away. You put that away until you're 30. As you get older, you're going to be making more money. Right now, you're just a hostess at a restaurant, but as you get older, you're going to be able to put more away. You'll be way set off more than I am, because I barely started investing like at 32, right? They're 18, 17 years old. They don't listen though, y'all. They don't listen.
They're injected with a plumping solution made of water, salts, phosphates, and preservatives. And why? To increase the weight, increase shelf life, and then increase profits.
I gotta spend this much on catering and it comes out of my pocket, but then I have to pay an advance back. And by the way, the advance that you have to give me is only on hard ticket sales. So the concept's called peanuts, parking, and alcohol. So when I sell out 10,000 people at Jones Beach, the person who buys a $20 hot dog, I don't see a dime of that. The person who buys $40 for parking, I don't see a dime of that. And the person who buys a $20 vodka and Red Bull, I don't see a dime of that. And then you advance me $1 million and tell me I'm rich, to then find out that you're making $4 million a night. And it takes me 36 shows to pay back the $1 million you advance me. And then it hit me, oh my gosh, they own all the venues. It's a monopoly. So then now they just want my body in this room so they can sell food and alcohol and whatever. So then they're going to make tons of money. And then they got me like schlepping around the United States talking about, I want to be famous. I was having panic attacks. I was like, wait a second. Joe Schmo pays $20 for a hot dog and I don't see that. And if I'm only making my advance back on hard ticket sales, that means I have to sell out every single venue in order to not go in the red, because I'm only paying my advance back on hard ticket sales. And by the way, they reserve the right in the contract to put the tickets on sale. So when it's $100 a ticket and they do their summer blowout sale, the tickets are only $10. So instead of me paying back $90 a ticket, right before I go on tour, they drop a John Bellion sale and the tickets are only $10. But then you have to pay back the $1 million they gave you off of $10 a ticket rather than the $90 they told you they were going to sell the tickets for, because now you're doing arenas. And they're like, they got you coming 12 times a Tuesday.
Something feels so inappropriate about seeing the foundation of a skyscraper, like the bowels of a building. I'm like interrupting something. You think skyscrapers are tall, yeah, but how deep do they go? How deep is your love? It's like an iceberg. Let's look at one of the deepest skyscraper foundations out there. Petronas Twin Towers in Malaysia. The tower rests on 104 concrete piles that go almost 400 feet down. That's deeper than a football field going down. Like, ew. And like, just look at all these. This is kind of what we're working with. Like the Burj Khalifa, tallest building on Earth, which is almost 3,000 feet tall. But weird, its foundation isn't as deep. It goes 164 feet down. Why? That's because Dubai's bedrock is relatively shallow and solid. Does that make me feel better about being on the top of the building? No. I'm like, I hope this thing is so deep in the ground that it doesn't just New York World Trade Center has a foundation that's 70 feet deep, and builders had to dig through centuries of buried city to reach solid ground. But even the deepest skyscraper doesn't come close to the foundation of an oil rig, which is super eerie to think about. The Deepwater Horizon drilled over 18,000 feet below the seafloor. That's over 3,000 miles straight down, ew. For oil, ew. And that's after going 5,000 feet down into the ocean. So yeah, next time you look up at these skyscrapers, just think about its bowels. It's sad to think that this is the last time this soil will see the light of day. But shout out to them for, keeping them grounded, because otherwise I don't know what we'd do with that little thing called wind. I want my skyscraper tucked firmly into the ground. Good night.
I never understood why there were so many accusations in the Middle Ages of people being possessed or of witchcraft or other forms of demonic possession. Exorcisms. But in the past year, I really understand. I understand where they were coming from.
I was tricked into being an active participant in this peaceful protest, aka race riots that are going on in Los Angeles. And I know I'm going to get in trouble because talking about it is against the contract I signed, which should have been the first red flag, but I got to tell my side of the story. So my brother's lived in Los Angeles for the past 3 years, and I was down there for about a week visiting. Well, around night 5 or 6, he told me that he's going to go do something tomorrow and he's going to make some money. So I inquired, well, what do you got to do? I want to make some money too. So he's like, yeah, bro, you can come with me. And I don't know all the details about what we're going to be doing yet, but I'm getting paid $150 a day to essentially protest something in a peaceful manner that is protected by the Constitution. I said, bet, I'm coming. So morning time rolls around, we get ready and we go. We pull up to the address. Now the address is like a warehouse. I'm like, whoa, bro, I did not sign up to work a factory job. He goes, I promise, this is not that. Just come inside. So as soon as you enter the doors of this place, you are now in a line. And at the end of the line, there's a desk and there's a piece of paper and a pen and a guy standing at this desk. And I'm noticing, I'm peeking ahead in line and I'm noticing that he's having guys sign things and then he's handing them an envelope. I said, great, that must be the money. So after I signed the papers and I grabbed the envelope, I now entered into the next dimension of the warehouse. Now the next dimension of the warehouse, it looked like preparation for a peaceful protest. I mean, there's sunscreen, there's water bottles, but if you do a little further inspection, you realize that this is going to be anything but peaceful. So I look a little further, past the water, past the sunscreen, and I see something that resembles rudimentary explosive making. And I nudge my brother, like, bro, look at this. He goes, oh, chill, don't worry about that, come on. So then we head to the back door where everyone was exiting out of. And now they're handing everybody a Mexican flag as they exit this building. I grab it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I'm a Republican, but I definitely can't tell them that now. Like, I'm committed to the bit. And after that, the rest is history. You've seen what happened all over the news. I'm just glad I made it out okay.
David Blaine does that a lot.
Yeah.
What do you mean that's a real magic trick?
I'll tell you. Danielle, my wife, was sitting next to David Blaine on a plane. She didn't know who he was, but he basically then said, do you want to see a trick? Then he pretended he didn't know what he was doing and fumbled the cards and threw it towards her window, which was closed. Then he said, oh, maybe just open it. And then he opened it, and the card was behind the airplane window.
So like on the outside of the plane?
Well, it could be in between the panes. We don't know that answer, but we know that it wasn't on the pane facing her. Like, she could not touch the card. And then he just said, nice to meet you, or whatever, and then they just left, and that's it. That's the whole story. And she was like, he's a witch, and just, like, kept walking. And didn't know he was David Blaine, which is even funnier, was just like, that guy he truly is a goblin, or whatever.
This is basically where wastewater treatment begins. We have about 300,000 tilapia and carp in here, right, to get rid of a lot of the particulates. Particulate poop? Yes. Once they reach up to harvest size, we harvest them out and sell them.
The fish that help purify the dirty water by eating uneaten food and poo will then be sold on the market for people to eat.
Right, exactly.
That's fantastic. Al is basically in the toilet right now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So I'm in this old library in my hometown, and I'm looking at microfilm from like newspapers from
No, this is a rabbit hole.
a long time ago. This is from April 23rd, 1912. This is 2 weeks after Titanic crashed, this newspaper. 2 weeks afterwards, right? Since the Titanic struck an iceberg and Jack drowned and didn't go on to the whatever. Anyway, look at this. White Star Line is already advertising come back on our ship on our ships across the Atlantic. The White Star Line is the company that owned the Titanic. No shame. 2 weeks after Titanic, right there in the newspaper, hey, go on our other ships. Gotta love capitalism.
This the difference between me and Timbaland. Timbaland listened to y'all music for a year straight and said, you know who I'm gonna sign? Nobody. An AI that I created myself on Suno, who gave me the biggest bag brand deal I've ever had. So you know what the difference is between me and Timbaland? I'm on here putting y'all, real human beings, on my project with me. And Timbaland has an Asian who's not even Asian, who's the A in AI is not Asian, it's artificial. And I'm putting a real Asian on my album. You feel me, Timbo? What are we talking about?
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
On January 24th, 1961, a B-52 bomber carrying 2 nuclear bombs broke apart in midair over Goldsboro, North Carolina. The plane had been on a routine flight from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base when a fuel leak caused the right wing to fail. As the bomber fell apart, the bombs dropped to the ground. Each bomb had a yield of 3 to 4 megatons, over 250 times the power of the Hiroshima bomb. One bomb deployed its parachute and landed intact. The other plummeted into a muddy field, with several of its safety mechanisms failing. Incredibly, 3 of 4 safety switches malfunctioned, and only a single low-voltage switch prevented a catastrophic nuclear detonation that could have wiped out most of eastern North Carolina and irradiated the surrounding region. The U.S. government kept the near-disaster secret for decades. In 2013, a declassified report finally confirmed what had long been rumored. America came within a hair's breadth of nuking itself.
I got a question. How many crazy things do you think have not been declassified yet that has happened in this country? How many secrets do you think are still hidden? Just think about it, because I didn't know about this till today. I feel like that's pretty significant. I feel like this should be in the history books. America almost blew themselves to smithereens. How many things have not been declassified? I bet you there's a ton of secrets, bro. And here's the crazy thing about that bombing thing, right? If, for example, it went off, what do you think America would have done? Back then, especially. What do you think they would have done? America would have been like, looks like Czechoslovakia is trying to bomb us. It's time to go to war.
Yeah, he ain't lying.
Am I wrong, though?
Huh?
That's all I'm saying.
What do you think the message is of the protests?
Protest. That's your First Amendment right. Show your signs, yell and scream all you want, and give your opinion about ICE operations, but keep it peaceful. I mean, they have damaged government property.
No, I'm with you about that, Tom, but what do you think of their message when it is peaceful, that you guys at ICE are being asked to do too much with too many in ways that go too far?
I don't think we're going too far. I think men and women at ICE are acting very professionally, and they're out there enforcing laws enacted by Congress. If you don't like what ICE does, I tell these people all the time, if they don't like what ICE does, then protest Congress. Because ICE is simply enforcing laws enacted by Congress. When they go arrest an illegal alien, they're arresting an illegal alien who has a final order issued by a federal judge. And we're executing his orders. That is their job. So go protest Congress. Go protest the immigration courts if you want. But ICE is funded to enforce immigration law. That's what Congress funds us to do. And that's the oath these men and women take. And I want to remind everybody, the ICE officers, they're not terrorists. They're not racist like I see the signs in this protest. They're mothers and fathers too. They have children. They don't
Doing their
have
job.
their hearts on the hook at home every time they come to work. They see a lot of terrible things. Immigration enforcement has always been controversial. I've been doing it since 1984. It's always been emotional. I get it. But we got a job to do, and we're going to do it. And we're going to do it every day in Los Angeles and every day across this country.
I think the biggest lie ever told in like movies and television shows is like when they show the family and it's a Tuesday morning and it's like, here's a stack of pancakes and we got the pitcher of orange juice and here's mom like, oh, Danny, don't remember your recital later this afternoon. And they're like, oh, Stephanie, grab a pancake on your way out. And it's like, that is not the real American family. Bro, it is a chaos. Like, I don't have to tell you what it's like.
You don't gotta tell me, dog.
It is like, it's like a Titanic ship going down, and everybody's grabbing all their stuff,
100%,
fighting for their lives, dude, to get out that door.
When fathers aren't around, you'll often see little boys who are more impulsive, who are more aggressive. Fathers and mothers are both critical to the development of children, which is a very controversial thing to say today, because if you're raised without one, you are missing a piece. But they're not the same. And they're not the same because our hormones dictate they're not the same. So fathers produce a hormone in great quantities called vasopressin. Vasopressin is the protective aggressive hormone. It helps fathers to protect their family. There was a study that was done where mothers and fathers lay in bed and the baby cries and the fathers sleep through the baby's distress cries, but the mothers wake up right away. But with the rustling of leaves outside the window, the mothers sleep through it and the fathers wake up right away because the fathers are attuned to predatorial threat. So our nurturing hormones make us different. I mean, the fact that we can say that there are many things that are similar between women and men, of course, but I think the idea that we want to kind of make everything the same when it's just not factual. It is the inconvenient truth that mothers and fathers' nurturing hormones dictate that if they are healthy and they've been raised in a healthy environment, they are different. Now, does that mean that a father can't raise a child and be a sensitive, empathic nurturer? It doesn't mean he can't take on that role. But if, as a society, we can't acknowledge the differences, then a father can't learn to be a sensitive, empathic nurturer.
You know, that's true, y'all, because I'm doing usually what the mother does, right? I stay home. I take care of the baby, right? Because I do YouTube. So I'm home, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays. It used to be just Wednesdays, but now it's Tuesdays and Thursdays because it's difficult, y'all. It's difficult. And I was telling Mama Bear yesterday, like, you know, did not this isn't exactly what I said word for word. I broke it down better, but like you're the one supposed to be here. You know, I'm the one out there supposed to be working and doing that because you have that nurturing, you have that patience, you have that just that mother loving gene, right? Not saying I don't have that loving gene, like I take care of them, but it's easier for me to get stressed. Plus, I'm schizophrenic, you know, so it's easier for me to get stressed out, I feel like, than her. But I notice the baby really behaves 10 times better with me. I don't know if it's because I'm his father and, you know, I don't put up with the nonsense, right? Like the mom does. Because when Mama Bear comes home, that's when he starts acting up. That's when he starts crying. I'm like, you've been good all freaking day. You haven't cried once. But when she shows up, he starts, you know, pulling those strings and all that. He knows, right? But I think that is true, y'all. Like, there's some nights where, you know, sometimes he'll wake up he wakes up once a night to get fed, right? Sometimes he won't though. Sometimes he'll sleep through the night. But there's some days where I wake up and I'm like, damn, he slept through the night. But then I see the bottle, you know, on the dresser. I'm like, did I miss him? I tell her, I didn't even hear you guys wake up. I didn't even hear you get up out the bed. I didn't hear him. He doesn't cry. He just wakes up, kicks and moves and, you know, all that. 9 times out of 10, I hear him. I wake up, check on him because he loves to pull that blanket over his face. So I make sure that blanket's, you know, not on his face. But, you know, there's some nights that I don't hear a peep, y'all. I don't hear a peep from them.
What scares you about America right now?
The thing that just scares me, if anything, is how much more can the common man be manipulated? How much farther can the government go? You know, how longer is it till we get to George Orwell?
Yeah.
There's so many people that know it and talk about it, you know, however many people will watch your show and they know it and they agree with you, or people that watch Bill Maher, or people that, you know, that watched Bowling for Columbine, and you think if all these people did something about it, why would we still be in the same position? So it's scary to know that the right wing has such a stronghold. If people
3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. Excellent. You know, leaving the cameraman behind is pretty savage. Pitch over. I hear you have good thrust.
When we were
Like,
kids,
where are you going?
like, if you were riding your bike around town or whatever and you fell off and scraped your knee, you could go knock on a stranger's door and
Yeah.
that adult would help you.
Yeah.
Now, kids can't do that because we can no longer trust those adults to not shoot those kids for trespassing.
Man, I remember back in the day, we used to ding dong ditch. We were idiots, y'all. We used to like ding dong ditch the same freaking house every night, y'all. And this guy knew it was us because we were always out front of the house skateboarding. Like he lived right here and we were like right there every day out there skateboarding, right? Just chilling, right? Chilling in front of the house. So he knew it was us, but we would go ring his doorbell and run. And one day this dude had enough. He came out with a bat, y'all. He chased us with a bat down the street. We hopped my friend's house's, you know, his fence. Like we went to his house like an idiot. Man, the good old days, right? Good old days of just being outside, little knuckleheads, y'all. But there you have today's reaction, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You made it this far, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I got some things to do, y'all. I got some things to do. I got some things on my checklist two main things. I got a new desk in here. You know, my dad made it, so I got that in here. So I got to sell the old desk I had, and it's just sitting in the garage procrastinating. I procrastinate a lot, y'all. Sometimes I do procrastinate, so I'm gonna get that posted. Clean this fish tank. It's filthy. The water levels are perfect, right? The fish is happy. The beta's got bubbles all over the top of the tank, but it just looks nasty. So we're gonna get that cleaned. It's Father's Day already coming up, y'all. Sunday's Father's Day, and it's my first Father's Day, so I think we'll be doing something on Saturday. I told Mama Bear, let's have it at our house, y'all. Like, I don't want to go nowhere. I want to be home. You know, maybe we could watch the NBA Finals or something. Put something on the TV that's universal, right? Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get my goals done for the day. I hope everyone out there is having a good day, having a good week, y'all. We're almost done. Finish strong, y'all. Finish the week strong. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on Friday, y'all. Might have a little Michelob Ultra Zero here. Later.